Hello and welcome to a brand new series here on the channel. We're going to do in Timberborn Update 5. Last time we did a Iron Teeth playthrough, and we're going to do Iron Teeth again, this new one. And we're going to do a semi-custom map that I've just worked on, based off of the old Capital Terraces that's available on the mod.io website, or mod manager, however you get your stuff. I've modified it to be a little bit less fun, called Toxic Outlands, and we'll go ahead and get started with normal difficulty, and I'll tell you a little bit about how this is going to work on the other side of the loading screen. Alright, and here we are once again at the settlement naming screen. You already know what we're going to call this. It's a Beaverburg 15th series on the channel. There we go. Nice XV for you Roman numeral fans. And here we are. So again, we start with 8 adults, 4 kits. Let's pause, take stock of what this map is. So this is a 256 by 256. I'm going to go into developer mode so I can show you what the whole thing looks like before we actually start. So 256 by 256 map. It is, as far as I can tell, fully quadrilateral symmetry or whatever you want to call it. The original map was not quite like this. The original map had a bunch more water sources that I took out because it was causing a ton of lag. But I will show you. Right here, there were a ton of water sources here, 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 and then in the corners here, there were no bad water sources anywhere on the map, so I had to add a bunch of those in, and a bunch I did. Each corner has 6, as you can see, and then in front of each of these little cascading, I guess you could call them weirs, maybe, there are a number of bad water sources on all sides. I did not add them all up individually, but yeah, there's a lot of these. Pretty much each corner inside of the map before you get to the next corner has like, what, 6, 12? There are 16 times 4. There's 64 bad water sources on this map. And the reason I did that is because, 1, this is a huge map, and 2, I wanted an impenetrable wall of toxic sludge around the entire outside of the map, so that when a bad tide happens, it actually takes a long time to get good water back where it's supposed to be filling up. But just to show you how everything else looks, it's kind of like a cascading series of tiers here. Most of the water comes out right here. These are all set to strength 2. The original map, these were set to strength 1, and then there were a ton of other things that I took out, so I did bump those up. It flows outward from the center, where the district center is located. The original version of this map had these all connected, but this is the corrected one for Update 5 the map maker originally put out, where everything is connected, so you don't have to... the land is all connected, not the waterways. The waterways were originally connected, now the land's connected. Now, terminology is confusing, but this way the beavers don't have to walk through nasty water to get to any other part of the upstairs. But water cascades down here, and then you have these like jagged tooth weirs kind of right here going down to the next level, where it just kind of diffuses around between different things. You got some metal ruins down here, and then it goes down to a second tier of weirs. Say that one 5 times fast. And then that goes down to this third tier right here, and we have in each corner an underground ruins surrounded by water sources. These are all set to 1. And that's going to make it a little challenging for us to get the underground ruins activated. We're going to have to put bridges and stuff for all of this. And then after that, it goes over this hump here, and then it cascades down into the final bowl, this little Outlands section, which is always going to be toxic water. And of course, when we have a bad tide, all of these around our underground ruins will become toxic. All of these will become toxic. Every single square inch of water on this map in a bad tide will be completely toxic. First bad tide is going to kill all the vegetation, all the trees, unless we do something about it. So that's going to be a fun little challenge. Hopefully I didn't make it too hard for myself. That's why we're playing on normal. But the main goal of this is I wanted a map that would be easy to build on, because we have not done a mega build pretty much ever on this channel. I feel like that's something that would be kind of fun with the Iron Teeth and all of the verticality and all the stuff that they have to offer. So that's why I decided to do this. Hopefully it's a fun challenge. We'll see what happens. I would like to try and get at least 500 BioBeavers stable operating with a whole bunch of bots. Maybe 1,000 if I can get the computer to render it correctly. I don't know. I did just get a new processor. There was a good a good Cyber Monday deal on the 5900X. I currently have the 3900X. So that's not in there right now, but for the next video, that will be. So let's come out of dev mode, back in normal mode now. We've talked about kind of how this is going to go, and then all we have to do now is actually make it go. So, starting position, we have access to a whole bunch of trees. We've got some berries over here. We, of course, have our starting quantity of berries. One of the very first things we're going to want to do, because we're actually in a really good spot with access to wood and everything, not going to need to worry about a forester for a while, but what we really want to do is we want to start protecting the berries, because those are going to be such a pain to regrow. So it's actually going to be in our best interest, I think, early on, to start doing science, after we start harvesting wood, of course. Start doing science and try to rush these water dumps and irrigate from the center out. Because we can't research the... where are these things? Yeah, irrigation barriers. We can't research those yet because obviously we don't have the treated planks. That's going to take a long time to get to it. So that's going to be a fun thing. Also, this is a modded playthrough. I can't believe I made it 7 minutes through this, and I haven't even told you guys that yet. It's not super heavily modded. What we're working with on this one is custom name lists, so we can recognize the beard boosters, dam decoration for artistic purposes, extended architecture, extended floodgates, Ferris wheel, frog statue, letters, more platforms, path extensions, simple floodgate triggers, smart power staircases, time-lapse camera, and vertical power shafts. So not too heavily modded like the last Folktales playthrough that had, I don't know, 35. Well, that's also because some of them don't work in Update 5 yet. But I did say time-lapse camera, yes. So let's go back into what do you call it, dev mode, so I can actually set where the time-lapse camera is going to be. And I want to do this with respect to being able to turn this into possibly a very nice square formatted or vertical formatted time-lapse. So we're going to go a little bit higher, come a little bit further down like this, just straight on like so, I think is going to make sense. Set camera, settings, screenshot frequency 1 day, turn the camera on. I'm not going to do 12 hours, and no, I'm not going to batch rename them automatically and completely destroy 1,400 pictures worth of a time-lapse. Not this time. That was last time, and this is now. But that's where we're going to be looking down on. Hopefully we can see some pretty interesting development over the course of this playthrough. And all that being said, I think we're now good to go. So let's get out of... Actually, hold on. I got to turn this back off. There we go. Now we're in normal mode, GeForce experience, go away, nobody cares. All right, cool. And now, clock starts. So, cycle 1, day 1. Like I said, first priority is probably going to need to be science after we start accumulating wood. So that is what we're going to start with. Let me lay out a path network here just real quick so I don't build myself out of the ability to use any of this. We'll just come right out the way like so. Make sure our trees don't grow where we can't transit anywhere. And there we go. All right, lumberjack flags. Trees that we don't want to get rid of if we can help it. Probably pines, so we have access to all of the resin. But these oak trees right here, very, very tempting to go ahead and get that taken care of. And I wonder if it really matters. No, probably not. These are all oaks and birch. These are oaks and pines. So why don't we get these oaks and birches out of the way first? Put a lumberjack flag there. I'll just do 2 for right now. We've got piles, and yeah, we just need to get this off and started nicely there. We also can't forget about our water pumps. These have a depth of 6 in the Iron Teeth faction, of course. But there's not very many places to truly pump deep yet. That's going to be a fun challenge for later, getting down here and having all sorts of water transportation. But we do need to make sure we're having water storage taken care of as well. And I forgot that we've got to get at these guys first. So let's just mark a nice swath of this as available. Should be most of what they can actually get to. Yeah, close enough. That's fine. So deep water pumps. For right now, the way this is set up, I think we're going to want to stay pretty local. relative to where everything is right now. So I'm just going to stick one of those there. Actually, I'll stick 2 of them in. But I'm going to prioritize one of these. We'll come in here with a bunch of small tanks, and by a bunch I mean 2 to start out with. Get some water stored up. It's nice that we have the 130 berries. We're definitely going to want to keep those as long as we can, but we'll go ahead and get started with a gather flag right here, just so we can take care of these berries. And now, once we have water in place, we should be able to go ahead and get inventors going, but we do have to have logs to make that happen. Yeah, so this will be the first thing. Let's go ahead and triple speed. And it is normal mode, so we're not going to have a 3-day wet cycle and then a huge drought. That's just not going to get us this time. We're going to be prepared. We're going to be in a good spot, good to go. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn on that 18-hour day. I know how much some of you guys love that, but we'll get going and get them started nicely on this. Now, one thing that we probably should be concerned about is going to be the lack of water when the drought comes, because it's all going to just drain off into this pool here. It's not, oh, hello. It's not going to completely go away because there is this little bit of depth here, but anything, this thing is not having a good time with me today right now. Anything up here is just going to be completely dry. And the only wet we're going to have is pretty much around the edges here. So there's a chance, depending on how long the drought is, there's a chance that these blueberries could end up dying off pretty quickly. So it might seem kind of counterintuitive, but we're going to want to have all of our farming probably concentrated toward the outside of this upper area until the bad tides come in, because then we're going to want to have irrigation barriers, but you know, we can't make those yet. So again, that's why I was saying we really, really need to get science going. Now that we have all that other stuff taken care of, let's get these things absolutely steamrolling right here. We got 3 of these inventors going in. I think we're probably okay for right now with the 12 beavers we have. What are we complaining about? Oh, shelter. Okay, that's a -3. Understandable. But I'm kind of reluctant to set up farming so fast because of just, you know, it's very possible for it to go very, very poorly. But the other cool thing is one farmhouse theoretically could reach the entirety of this plain up here, I guess we could call it. But I can't actually get here yet. So it's going to end up being something that I most likely just put in maybe right about here would make the most sense for right now. Because we are going to have to plant some kohlrabies just so we can, you know, keep our beavers alive. I know, what an inconvenience, right? Yeah, there we go. Got 2 of them working away. Just as a reminder to have a water dump without dynamite, we're going to have a lot more science, because the levee's 120. The water dump itself, or I'm sorry, fluid dump, is 250. And then to make one appropriately, we also have to have stairs, which are locked behind science as well. So it's probably going to be a little sketchy first couple of cycles. Hopefully we don't get a bad tide before things get too crazy. But you know how these things go. We're going to be living off of kohlrabies for quite some time. I think I'll leave this quadrant pretty much undone. Now we have so many berry bushes. I'm not going to feel bad about getting rid of some of these. Actually, this one has fruit on it, so we don't want to mess with that. But otherwise, we really need to make sure that we are taking as much as we can. We do have some water stored up. Food-wise, obviously the berries aren't going to last forever, and they were never going to anyway. But log storage, I'm glad we have that, because these guys are going to fill this up probably pretty quick. This is still looking okay. We are going to want to get our breeding pods in pretty soon. But again, we don't have a sustainable source for food outside of the berries quite yet. So we just need to make sure that we are making our way down here. These do take only 3 days to grow, and you get 2 of them. So it might not be the happiest of food situations here, but they are going to be fed. Yeah, we can see berries coming in. So we're not in a bad spot. We're just not in a great spot. Now, science-wise, we almost have 120. We do have 3 of these. I don't have any more beavers to man any of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, since we are where we are right now, I'm going to go ahead and put in... let's just start with 2 breeding pods, just to start off. We have to start making them no matter what. Even though theoretically our berry situation isn't ideal, these aren't going to die immediately. And we have the ability to hopefully before we get too far along, depending on how much wood we manage to harvest, we do have the ability to dam up 1 of these. I think we can make happen. This is just 4 of these. That's 80 logs. We have 54. They've cut through a lot of what we already had allocated here. So I'm going to do the alternating rows thing again. Everybody's absolute favorite technique. No controversy whatsoever about the actual effectiveness of this. But yeah. Oh, that was the wrong button. No, it wasn't. Haha. There we go. Yeah. Well, this will at the very least allow us to save some of the trees and still cut a pretty good amount of others. And yes, I know that they can't reach all of these. We will remedy that, and I am going to mark some of these for cutting as well. They should be able to reach most of these. Yeah, well, that guy can. I don't know about that guy. So there's still plenty of pines. We're not hurting for any of that. Everything is looking just fine. And we are growing 2 little beavers, or 2 little abominations. For those of you who don't know what it looks like, I am duty-bound to show you. Let's see if I can get a good angle on this. It is pretty much nightmare fuel. You see this thing? That is terrifying. But I digress. Yeah, now we have enough wood and we have enough time. Or I'm going to go ahead and set 1 of these right here to try and retain at least a little bit of water. That will save a lot of these. And then I will also put 4 down here. The trees aren't going to dry out in 1 drought in normal. In fact, there's probably very few trees that would dry out in 1 drought in normal, since I think the maximum length is, what, 9 days? Yeah, I really should know this. I really should, but for some reason I never do. Anyway, they'll be able to take care of that just fine. That will raise our water level just a tiny bit. Hopefully it doesn't overflow, actually. 4 of these at 2 strength. I don't know if all that water will fit through 4 dam segments. I really don't. Well, that'll be interesting to find out. Maybe I should have tested this. But if you know anything about me and my, I guess you could say my brand here on YouTube is that it's chaos. The fun kind of chaos, though. Okay. We are going to want some more water storage, so let's go ahead, well, after they construct all of this, go ahead and put in a little bit of water storage. I guess it probably doesn't hurt to have, well, pretty much anywhere, honestly. But right now, just 1 more right here, holding another 30, I think will work. Kohlrabi's, they'll store up to 50 here, but we're going to want to get into storage. So let's make a medium warehouse. And we'll just stick this right behind here. This one's going to be for berries. And then this one, actually, we should put this closer to the farmhouse. He says, building stuff in the way at all times. You know, this actually isn't too far. This will be fine for right now for kohlrabi's. This is all going to come out. How many times did I say that last playthrough? And then I never removed anything. But ideally this is all going to come out, and this is going to be master planned to be a really cool, what's the word, mega housing, mega industrial kind of a block kind of thing. I've got some interesting ideas. We'll see what happens. And of course, I always welcome your suggestions in the comments. I do read all of them. If this is the first video of mine you're seeing, welcome. But I do read all of the comments, and I take notes between episodes to make sure that I'm attempting to give you guys a voice and some sort of say-so in how this works. Because as I always say, this is a let's play. It is not a watch me play. I want you guys to be involved. So comment early, comment often, let me know your thoughts. And honest criticisms are fine too. I'm not going to be one of those people that says, you can't tell me how to play the game. Well, no. We're having a good time together. That's what it's about. Alright, so this one's just about done. I'm very interested to see if this overflows. I don't think it should, but it very well could. Now, we have science. Don't worry, I haven't been forgetting about it. We're going to unlock the levees. We're going to unlock the fluid dumps. Oh, I don't have quite enough. Okay, well, let's go ahead anyway and make our little levees. So, let's pause. I actually haven't measured this, but based off of the watering, I'm going to imagine that this is dead center. So if we go, I'm going to have to count manually because I'm so smart and good at math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 that way. 1 in the middle. That makes 35, I think. Did I do my math correctly? Let me know down below. But I'm pretty sure these are 35 by 35. So if that's the case, having this directly in the middle is not going to irrigate the entire thing, but it will keep most of the middle irrigated, and the outside can do what it needs to do. So that being said, this is what we will do. We'll just stick that right there. I can, right now, build the stairs, which for the purposes of this one, I guess I don't really know. I don't know which side it should go on. Well, let's make it easy. The doorway on the district center is here. Let's just put that guy, yes, have to unlock it. Put that right there, which means we're going to need a path, which means we're going to need to demolish along the path. Oh no, there's berries on it. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. This needs to be the primary goal to build this warehouse, so we can start putting additional berries in. So now that we know that's a thing, I can come in this way, and I can start setting up, at least until we have dynamite, I can start setting up the same deal, I believe. Make sure those are all the same way. I know I'm kind of mental for that, huh? Let me just do a quick counting here. So this should, including this to here, should be 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Good. I looked and measured correctly. Good job, me. So we'll just do the mirror of that right there. And then I can use a similar technique over here. I know we're not going to be building all of this right away, but it is a very, very important to me that this is put in correctly. Probably makes me an insane person, but that's fine. There are definitely worse things I could be doing with my time. So we're not going to worry about all of this so much at this exact moment in time. Again, it's just something that I want to make sure that I'm planning for so that I can come back later, detonate this out, make it maybe a little bit bigger, or put a swimming pool in or something. Just a little bit of planning for the future. And I think I'm right here, but let's just check. 1, 2... Oh, no, this is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Cool. And that lines up there, so that's okay. And there's a tree in the way, so we're not going to get a path going that direction, but we can at least kind of mark it out this way. And this has not overflowed. That's good news. My complete lack of planning is not going to ruin this series yet. Yet being the operative term, of course. All right, now we're not maxing out our storage of kohlrabies yet, so that's probably a little bit good, probably a little bit not so good. These guys, of course, are in the process of making these dams, but we kind of don't need them. Not right now, at least. And when we get a bad tide, we're not going to want the dams. So you might catch me getting the old shift backspace ready to go when the bad tides come in. We might just nuke these things from orbit and let all the bad water drain out. But fortunately, in normal mode, we should not see a bad tide until at minimum, let's cycle 4 or 5. Not entirely sure. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead right now, just extend our paths all the way around so we can have some good connectivity here. All right, there's our first drought. We've got 3 more days. Okay. So based on how things are now, I'm going to finish... There we go. Yeah, I'm going to finish this warehouse and then have them get to work on this. We do have the science to unlock the fluid dump. So I can go ahead and place this, but I can hear you saying, you don't have any planks. Well, guess what? You win the prize for being smart. Congratulations. We do not have any planks. You are correct. And we're about to enter a drought, which means none of this. So you know what that means. It's time for our old friend, the power wheel, to make a comeback here. So what we're going to do, we're going to place one of these guys right here. And we're going to put in an industrial lumber mill right here. And that means they get to go to work doing all of that fun stuff. Fortunately, we're going to have water retained. And it's not mission critical for us to have these dumps installed quite yet, but I did want to make sure that those were off to a good start before we did anything else, because that's going to allow us to keep growing kohlrabies, keep our beavers fed, and generally avoid catastrophe. Which is, you know, generally speaking, a good thing to ascribe to. We're not going to get into the rest of the food quite yet, because that's going to all require processing and power, which we can't set up until we have, well, not a drought coming in a day and a half. So I'm just not going to worry about it. Probably will end up being a next episode thing, in all honesty. But again, I'm just really not worried about it. So these guys, actually, I need to deprioritize all of these in other areas, because I just need them focusing on this for right now. And water storage, again, is not going to be a huge problem because we dammed these 2 up. These 2 are going to go dry, which, well, it happens, but none of these trees are going to die in 3 days or however long the drought's going to be. But going forward, we're definitely going to want to have that dammed up. And of course, we're going to want to get to planting trees sooner rather than later. But we're looking okay for right now. The trees have not all been killed off yet. We are going to want to get some protection in place for at least a few of these pines, which is kind of why I have this set up. The bad water will not reach all the way into here, but it will probably kill a lot of them around the edges when it comes in. So that is part of the reason that we're going to focus so much on that. Now these guys coming in probably should be focusing on maybe a couple of other things. But a good start with science is never a bad thing, as long as everything else is taken care of. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deprioritize the inventors. I know I just said science is important, and then I'm telling all of them to go away and do something else. Well, we kind of need planks. That's pretty unavoidable. The planks are necessary to build not only our stairs, but also the fluid dumps that we're going to be using to irrigate the rest of this area. And there's our drought. You can see just how quickly most of this becomes unirrigated. But a 2-day drought? Are you serious? Okay. They take 14 days to die. It's fine. No problems here. Same kind of deal with our blueberries. But you can see that since we dammed this up, it still irrigates the majority of these, except these guys on the outside, since there's no water flowing over the little, what are these things called? The castle parapets or whatever. Yeah. So the other fun thing, well, these don't put anything out during a drought anyway. Oh, by the way, all of the bad water sources in this map are set to strength 3, so the bad water is very powerful. But you can kind of see how this map is designed to kind of prevent a little bit of backflow. Oh, by the way, these blueberries are going to get poisoned pretty easy. Maybe they're not all going to die, but definitely some of these, yeah, in this area as this starts to backflow a little bit because there's no pressure pushing the bad water out. Definitely not an ideal scenario here. But that's fine. We got our planks ready to go. They just have to bring them on over here. And we'll get all this hooked up. Should not be that big of a problem. Just gotta wait. And we are producing a net positive on our beavers. I think we're probably going to be okay to go ahead and put some more breeding pods in. What's our progress on? Okay, that's fine. Since we have so many of these berries here, we might as well use them. Plus, we have a pretty good stock. If we're going for a mega build, we're going to need mega population. And since this map isn't going to be challenging from a terrain perspective, we don't need to spend so much time focusing on all of that. But there are still going to be other things we have to take care of. Like our beavers with broken teeth having a tooth grindstone. Alright, and the drought is over. Easiest drought ever. I don't think I've ever had a 2-day drought before. That's fine. Water comes back in, and we'll be able to see just how long it takes to actually flow back over these things. I don't think it's a very fast process, so seeing how long it takes for the stuff to come back over the side is going to be a pretty good primer for when we get into bad tides, because all of that is going to have to be flushed out before it's pure again. That's going to take a long time, especially when it gets down to these second and third levels down. Okay, so that only took about half a day to get water flowing back over here. That's not bad. And then back over here is like another couple of hours. And then some of these areas it's going to flow directly out really easily, and then others it has to still go over this hump here. So, you know, not super crazy challenging, but the bad tides are going to be, they're going to be brutal. They're going to be really, really bad, because this whole map is pretty much going to die instantly when that happens. Okay, so this isn't connected with a path because I guess they didn't feel like getting rid of these berry bushes. Well, let's fix that. That needs to be connected there. And of course, none of this is going to go away until the actual trees get harvested. And I don't think these guys, yeah, they can't reach anything else over here. So that's all okay for now. There we go. This is now able to be connected. And we should... Hey, Richard G. Working in the fluid dump for us. And there we go. Our 9 unirrigated squares in the middle are now irrigated. But when the bad tide comes in, we're going to be glad that this is here. Let me tell you. And we have 4 of these now. Our population should start going up pretty quickly. In fact, I'm going to go ahead now. Let's see. Yeah, this guy I'm going to make into a paused lumberjack flag. And I'm going to put another one of them, let's just say right here. And I'm going to clear cut, first of all, the path over to here, and then probably... Actually, I could probably just get rid of everything in this, I guess you could say, quadrant right here, because we are going to have to build on all of this, and we are going to replant. We just need to be replanting in responsible ways, or just selectively keeping certain things alive, but should not have any issues with this here. This guy can only reach certain parts of that. I guess I could just go ahead and place this guy right here. Just let him let them keep track of what they want to keep track of. Yeah. So there are no more trees here, so I'm not gonna mark this up, but I just wanted to show you 25%, technically a little bit less than that, of each of one of these quadrants is going to be completely cleared. And then the rest of these, I'm not going to touch the pine trees yet. But the rest of these I think we're going to leave like that. Just to make sure that we can have everything taken care of. Did I start? I left a space. I did. Okay. So that will go nicely just like so. Did I do that incorrectly? Not quite yet. There we go. Yes, this is the riveting content you crave. Yeah, the people that took the survey said, please spend a lot of time marking out individual trees for cutting. That's my favorite part. I'm just kidding, and none of you said that. But I digress. At least for right now, it gives us something interesting to think about and look at here. While we're in this specific mode. No, I forgot I can get that done. Alright. So, we should be on our way to getting the rest of these built. Albeit a little slowly. Just waiting on the rest of these levees. I can go ahead and put in a fluid dump here. I can just place these all on top, honestly. And these aren't going to have to be constantly manned because we have the timer. So what I can do is since we only have the 4 of these right now, we might end up with more. But I can pause on a schedule. The 0 time is this little blip right here. Is the 0 hour when the day actually changes. So if it's paused starting, so we had this whole discussion in the Folktales playthrough. If it's paused starting at 0, then it's resumed starting at whatever other time I put up to it. So pause it at the start of the day. No, don't pause it at the start of the day. Resume it at the start of the day. And pause it at our, let's see, it's an 18-hour day. Hour 4. And then this one, you're going to resume at hour 4. Pause at hour 8. Going around in a circle here. Resume at hour 8. Pause at hour 12. Did I actually click pause on a schedule? Yes. And then this one, resume at hour 12. Pause at hour 16. I actually could have offset those by 1 hour to account for beavers waking up and doing everything else, but actually, let's do that. 17, 13. Because you know the first hour they're just crawling out of bed, not really taking care of anything else. Oh, I didn't do that one quite right. Pause at 13. Resume at 9. I wonder why I didn't have that set. Pause at 9, resume at 5. Pause at 5, resume at 1. And there we go. So that will always be... Well, I shouldn't make it the highest priority, but I will go ahead and elevate each of these. There we go. Is this unnecessary at this point in time? Yeah, probably. But it is kind of cool to set stuff like this up. Alright, food situation. We definitely need some more kohlrabis. We definitely want to have some additional growth over here. So now that this is going to keep our berries irrigated, we probably should also move our gatherer flag. I don't have space. Oh, I have one right here. Okay. So that guy's going to go here now. And then because of that, I can actually come in and eliminate berry bushes. I know this might seem kind of a dumb choice, but if I eliminate the berry bushes in this quadrant of a quadrant, then this whole thing can just be kohlrabis. We have tons of berries everywhere else. Not any reason to be worried about it. We'll just let these guys take care of what they've got to take care of. Again, we'll get into food processing a little bit later on next episode. Just want to keep on top of all this. Keep planting as it's necessary. And we still only have the 13 planks. I am aware the storage is full, so we probably should go ahead and make one of these into plank storage. And I can hear you. You have the water. You can actually put in, what do you call these things? Water wheels. Yes, you are correct. And that is what we're going to do once we have everything else basics-wise taken care of, the food and everything. Which, I mean, arguably we do because we have so many berries, but I want to make sure the kohlrabies are a little bit more robust in how they're being set up. And we're going to put in another water tank just to keep track of that. Looking good. All right. So, compact water wheels. We're going to have to be careful how we have these set up because, well, one, we have pumps here. And actually, can I fit... Ooh, that's an idea. I thought about kind of stacking these in like this and then not worrying about the rest of it, but for right now, these two right like here are probably going to be... Well, I don't even have this other one built yet because I don't have enough beavers to man it. But we're going to get that going. I could put a couple more over there. I'm going to start by putting 4 of these right here. And I guess, yeah, there's no danger of anything if I just put this stairs here. We are going to get rid of that before a bad tide happens. Don't worry. But if I put those guys right there, that's going to generate a pretty considerable amount of power. And it is going to disturb our path going right here for the time being. But don't worry, I've got plans for all of that fun stuff. We got large water wheels, and those require a little bit of a higher thing. We're going to have to put some levees in here. We'll get it figured out. Do not worry. But where did those... There we go. That power shaft is going to come out here. So we'll get rid of that. And I'm going to send this out this way. So what that's going to do is give us an opportunity to put a shaft here. And then we can just rotate our buildings. Yes, each of these making about 80, a little bit higher. Okay, this one's 70 for some reason. I think once we put the other wheels in, they will all, on average, make a little bit more. Because all of the water is going to have to just go zoop all the way through these. Okay, kohlrabies, let's do this thing here. Still a pretty good amount of blueberries that they want to get rid of there. So what are they building first? Okay, that guy. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this time to remove both of these. And these lumber mills, because of the offset, only one of these is going to connect on this side, which, you know, it's fine. I'll just build that one first. And then we'll have both of these in here. And this is going to be enough space for us to put in 6 buildings like this, and then one like pass-through kind of thing if we wanted to. Or to have small storages on the outside. I think that the small storage on the outside is probably going to be smart. There was no real rhyme or reason for me picking this distance, except I wanted to make sure I could fit at least 3 side by side for when we eventually get to that point and research gear workshops and stuff. But for right now, having a bunch of planks is going to be a good idea. We are currently making, wow, almost 500. Cool. These are what, 50 apiece? 75. Oh, that's right, because this is the industrial version. I'm pretty sure the Folktales version is 50. Could be wrong, though. But now we're going to be good. Having 2 of these is going to provide us plenty... Okay, another drought in 3 days. Yeah, it's going to provide us plenty of planks. We have enough science to get into gears, so if we unlock those... Yep, we can put in 2 of these nice and easy. And then we might even have some room for some food processing to get into it next time. The fermenters and everything. Actually, no, I did do my imaginary fake math correctly. I can fit 3 of these side by side, and that's actually the perfect little bit there. But the other fun thing about having this completely spanning the entire waterway here is I can just build a fermenter right here and just move these small tanks. But by having the gear workshop in place, that's going to allow us to build and research the medium tanks, which obviously are a whole lot better. and are going to bring us into the next episode where we're going to have our beaver population go substantially higher than it already is. And we have to have somewhere for them to live too, so we'll get into the thick of that. But we'll see how long this upcoming drought is going to be. If it's not too long, we'll just ride all the way through it, and then we'll pick up in episode 2 of this series at the start of cycle 3. So far, everything's looking pretty good. Our guys here, building, occupying pretty nicely here. I'm going to pause this lumber mill because we don't need 2 of these right now. I just want to make sure that we have enough beavers in place to actually, you know, take care of all this stuff. We're slowly working on getting the paths in place, or cleared to put paths in place to go up to these fluid dumps. This one is operating. And this one should shut off. There it goes. Cool. Yeah, this staggered fluid dump, utilizing only 1 beaver to take care of 4 of these in a day, that is a great strategy. I do not remember who suggested in the comments of the Folktales series. I apologize. But that was one of the commenters that suggested that. So please do always feel free to make suggestions. Even if it's something that I already am planning on doing, or already know that I'm fixing, whatever, I do very much appreciate your help, your advice, your comments, your observations, whatever, because anyone who's watched these videos for any length of time is going to be able to tell you, I just miss stuff for completely stupid reasons. And that's not even like a bit or me trying to like game things up for the algorithm or whatever. I just do not remember things. We like to keep it honest here. So help keep me honest, I'll help keep you honest, and together we're going to have a good time. That's how it works. Get rid of that bush as well. Kohlrabi's going here. Going here. I find it funny how we still only have 7 kohlrabis, despite tripling or quadrupling the amount that we've planted here. Alright, so this guy should be... Oh, you know what? That was dumb of me. I didn't have the whole thing marked out for them to cut. I was like, why have they not cut these trees down yet? Well, it's because you didn't tell them to, you dingus. So, yeah, you can see very quickly how it's very important to have these water dumps in the center during a drought, or else things just really don't go that well. But yeah, 3-day drought. I know, yeah, big increase in difficulty from the 2-day drought. But yeah, now all the power is gone. So that's why I wanted to get this going before we got too far along. So let's pause all of these, have these beavers go take on other things in their lives. Now that we have a couple more, we got 17 adults. Get them coming in here. And we'll see what they're able to accomplish here. We know we've got some cutting. And a couple of you left comments saying, hey, in the survey, which we'll talk about a little bit later, you don't zoom in enough. I don't get to see what the beavers are actually doing. You zoom out way too much, and I wish I could see more. So I'm going to try. I can't promise I'm going to be perfect at it, but I'm going to try and give you guys a little bit more of a detailed look at what's going on. Because there are a bunch of cool animations in this game that we don't really spend a lot of time appreciating. These guys have all sorts of stuff they're up to. They're just waddling away, carrying their logs to build all this stuff. And I love this animation of the trees just wobbling while they're being cut down by beavers chomping on them. This is just a really cool game. It's just magnificent. Obviously on 1 times speed it's going to look a little bit slower. If we go to 3 times, it's just this thing's just jiggling all over the place. Yeah, don't be afraid to remind me of promises and well, I don't want to say promises, but keep me honest, like I was saying earlier. If I've said I'm going to do something, remind me, because it's very possible I could forget. And we don't want that to happen now, do we? So, like I said, stuff's going well. We got plenty of berries. Kohlrabi stock is not great, but it's not terrible. You know, acceptable numbers. I'll make sure that we're getting these guys... Yeah, they're still going to be working on that for probably a little bit of time. But once these trees are out, which they should be pretty quickly here, we'll be able to put our stairs in. Yep, just that one more. Yeah, somebody come grab this pine tree here. I don't know if anyone's going to be chewing on it, or if they're just building these levees here. What I don't want is I don't want somebody to get stuck in the middle of this, and now they can't. So that's good. Yep, 1.2 days left. Stuff's looking pretty good. Water supply is not looking fantastic, but, you know, could be worse. Could definitely be worse. So I'm going to go ahead, since we already have less than half of our storage on water occupied, I'm going to move these in preparation for putting some fermenters here for the farm. And we're going to need to find a place to put a nice medium tank storage. So I don't know exactly where that's going to be. We'll get it figured out. So maybe somewhere over here. Since we have some food storage already, we'll just build one of these. Set this to water. I know we don't have enough materials to build it right now, because we have to make some more gears, and we can't make gears until we have water going through these. But it is looking pretty good, pretty good. Now we're almost done here, so I do want to make sure I get a couple more of these things in place before we say goodbye today. Oh, we're almost there. That just has to get connected with the path. But yeah, there we go. End of cycle 2, day 17. Almost cycle 3 upon us. So, all in all, I think a pretty good start to our first episode of this series. Let's not forget the nasty water out here. We are going to need to get into taking advantage of this at some point. And it's going to be a little bit of a journey to get there. The heights to traverse and all the distances to travel. If we want to make any dynamite or anything like that, it's going to be a little bit of a job. But we'll see what happens. I think we're already very nicely equipped to handle all of that stuff. So, as I always do at the end of these episodes, just want to take a moment to thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with me for an hour and enjoy some beavers here. You have a lot of options for entertainment on the internet, and the fact that you chose to spend time with me is really awesome. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad that we get to do this together. Also want to recognize our beard boosters, the channel members, and Patreon supporters who power all of this, make it possible for me to keep doing these videos every day, and providing encouragement and all that fun stuff along the way. So again, huge thanks to those folks, and again, just glad that you're able to join me. Here we have the very end. Sun will come up. Go ahead and power through the rest of this, and then we'll see what's on tap in the next episode. But yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, I mentioned the community survey. Please do take that if you haven't already. I've gotten, as of now, about 150 responses, which is fantastic. But I want as many as I can before the end of this week, so that I can have an idea of what you guys want to see in the channel, what you like, what you don't like, any suggestions or improvements that you might have in mind, so that we can make this the best it possibly can be. Because, like I said earlier, this is a Let's Play, not a Watch Me Play. I want you to be involved, and I can't know what you want unless you tell me, so please do take advantage of that. I very much appreciate those of you who have done so already, and I look forward to hearing from everyone else who hasn't. But yep, that is it. That's all the time we got. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back tomorrow for another episode of the Folktales series, and then we'll see you back in action on this playthrough on Sunday with a stopover in the Water Beavers on Saturday. But yep, take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.